What's going on, you nerds? Welcome back to another Neverwinter Nights video. Dungeons and Dragons. We're doing another DM event, but this time, I'm not the DM. Aha! I'm just a player this time. We got another DM hosting an event, and I came along as my goblin character. One of my favorite characters to play because he's so weird. He's also one of those characters that I can play like at any time, and because he doesn't, okay, there's a few like facets about him you guys gotta understand. Number one, he doesn't speak any common. He doesn't speak English in the game. No one really understands him. The only language he speaks is Goblin, and maybe like 5% of the population, at least the player, but like all the characters that people have, they don't speak Goblin, so no one understands anything that I say half the time, or majority of the time, except the DMs, because the DMs can see every language. So I can just mutter anything I want, and no one's gonna know. I can talk bad about people. No one's gonna know. It's like speaking a different language in real life, and then they're like, "What are you guys talking about?" The only thing is, there's like not a lot of Goblin characters, and because there's not a lot of Goblin speaking characters that I'm just like talking to myself basically because no one else is understanding. The basic premise of this event is some foreign delegates or something from a different country is coming here, and we basically have to escort them from the city that they arrived in to another city where there's a couple temples that they want to visit. Pretty simple storyline, but in a good way. The simple ones are the best ones. And this is going to be a short episode because it was kind of a shorter event. I really just wanted to show off my goblin character because he's dope. His name is Unkdaz, and get a load of this, guys. I love the phrase "get a load of this." Like, it's disgusting on so many levels, yet it's like just an amazing phrase to say. Get a load of this. His preferred weapon, you can kind of see it right now, is a fish. He uses a fish as a weapon. Shout out to Gollum and Smeagol. Not that they use fish as a weapon, but I think there's been some instances where like he's like hunting fish or something in a river. Shout out to all the YouTube videos of behind the scenes Lord of the Rings. I was just watching it recently. I don't know why, but man, that YouTube recommended page is, good lord, that's a black hole if I've ever seen a black hole. You get lost in that sauce. But anyways, we're kind of just traveling overland right now to the city that this DM's NPC characters are tagging along. They want to go visit a couple temples, so we're just traveling along together. Me and my flaming fish. It's a magical fish that's on fire and has a whole bunch of different types of damage on it. To kind of give a gist of this character that I made, he's a barbarian, so like this guy loves to fight. This guy's a savage. He's classic bougie ratchet. I don't even know the worst. Is that the worst to it? He loves fighting. How can I describe him? He has like the personality of like a Smeagol. Like he's like super. This guy just wants to have fun. He just wants to travel. He just wants to fight, but he's in such good spirits all the time. He doesn't care what is going on. But when it comes to fighting, because he's so barbaric and savage that he gets lost. Like he's ready to go when he's fighting. That's all he wants to do is fight. And he's like a baby. He's like a demonic baby. I guess, I don't know. He's like a mix of a dog and a baby if they were possessed by a demon or something. Like, it's great. This is such a fun character to play. And because no one understands him, you don't even have to be a great like role player or anything like that. Just have fun with him. It doesn't even matter. He also has a catchphrase. I always use the phrase "is good." Like if he finds like a fish he likes in a lake, he'll say "is good." If he gets healed by someone, he'll thank them by saying "is good." It's basically like a phrase of gratitude or like, you know, excitement. It's like it's like a Swiss Army knife of a phrase. You can use it for anything really. But because I'm speaking in Goblin, people who don't speak Goblin don't see "is good" because that's the translated version. They see "okay kuut," which is like the most stereotypical sounding Goblin words or like sound effects ever. And that's why I love it so much that it's like ingrained in my brain now. Like if I'm like out in the real world and like, you know, I'm at McDonald's or something, and then, you know, I get my Big Mac, my Grand Big Mac. I get 3 Grand Big Macs. I'll say in my head I'm saying "okay kuut" as "is good." Like this Goblin character is ingrained in my life now. It's like in my blood. He loves gongs, by the way, so anytime there's a gong, you can see me hitting a gong. He uses I always imagine him like holding a fish like a baseball bat, and he's just like hitting gongs, and you just hear the gong resonating, and then like a weird goblin speaking in the background, like so excited that he's hitting a gong. Highly recommend you play this character. He's probably a bit of trouble in combat because he doesn't have like a shield. He just has like a two-handed weapon. He's probably gonna get hurt a lot. The great thing about having a barbarian is you get like damage resistance. So that, you know, he's just a he's barbaric. He doesn't care. He just wants to fight. We're already nearing the end, guys. It's going by so quick. We stopped off at one of the cities where one of those NPCs that the DMs had, the temples that they wanted to visit, dropped them off, taking them to a different city, another character to a different city. We're in like a swamp area right now. We passed a few different terrains, but there's a lot. But this particular like path that we took, there's you know, some of the plains, some swamps. We got some different kind of creatures. We had some like dragons, half dragons, some bandits, you know, ogres, and some of that stuff. Whole variety of creatures to come across. Unkdaz, one of my favorite characters to play. Highly recommend you play him. Make your own Unkdaz in stores today. I'm really like selling this character as if I'm like creating like merchandise or something. I wish I could. I want to make some merchandise about a goblin holding a fish. That's a dream scenario for me. And that about wraps up this episode. This is not even an episode. This is a video. That about wraps up this video. I'm gonna keep that part where I said episode. I just want to talk about my character. You know, such a likable guy. No one understands him. He's a misunderstood, but he loves bloodlust and fishes. Thanks guys for watching. If you want to see more of this stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Like the video. You know, we have these DM events pretty often. You know, sometimes like 1 or 2 a week. Sometimes we have a couple of DMs that kind of what's the word that I'm looking for? You kind of circulate through different DMs on, you know, different weeks that we host our own events. You've seen a couple of mine in previous videos before. This is someone else's that I came to play as a player. Just wanted to introduce you guys to one of my characters, Unkdaz. I have like 9 other characters, each just as weird. No, this is probably the weirdest character I have. Most of my other characters are kind of normal. There goes the gong again. But that's why I want to show off Unkdaz. He's such a weird, lovable character. Please make him yourself. Show me your Unkdaz. Show me your Unkdaz. That's a new shirt I'm gonna make. Appreciate you guys for watching, and later, you nerds.